G'day, it's Fugitive Australian journalist Shane Dowling from the website and YouTube channel Kangaroo Court of Australia. Now I'm about to review an article by McClymont. She published in 2021 in relation to the arrest warrant issued by the New South Wales Supreme Court for me to serve 10 months jail. Now I'm going to review it for a number of reasons. Number one, it's the 4th anniversary of the arrest warrant. It was actually on the 3rd of September 2025 was the 4th anniversary. I haven't done an article like I normally do, so I'm going to do an article the next day or so. And I also want to review it because some people are making false claims. They're saying, oh, there is no arrest warrant. 1 or 2, they say, oh, you fled New South Wales. Why don't you come back and face the music? Well, I didn't flee New South Wales. I was already in Queensland and I was denied natural justice. They wouldn't transfer it to Queensland, which they should have done. So I'll read out the article paragraph by paragraph, then I'll state what the actual facts are. And it really drives home. The article hasn't aged well for the judge, Justice Kelly Rees, hasn't aged well for McClymont either. She could have contacted me and got my side of the story, but she didn't bother. So the article was published on the 6th of September 2021, and it's titled Warrant Issued for the Arrest of Blogger Shane Dowling. Now the article's still up, so you can go and read it yourself, and I'll put a link to it. An article I'll publish tomorrow on the 30th of October 2025. Be a link there to that article, Kate's article. It's by McClymont, the Sydney Morning Herald journalist, and it starts off, blogger Shane Dowling has declared himself a fugitive following an order by the New South Wales Supreme Court on Friday, which is the 3rd of September 2021, that he be arrested and jailed for 10 months for criminal contempt. And the article goes on to say, this will be the 3rd stint in jail for the intentional, willful and deliberate, she's got that in inverted commas, flouting of court orders. Most of them are relating to his continuing obsession, that's in inverted commas, with media mogul Kerry Stokes and the Seven Network. So what McClymont doesn't say there, and she could have and should have, and it's very important, the court didn't institute contempt proceedings against me. Kerry Stokes, 7 West Media did. The name of the case is 7 Network v Shane Dowling, but it should actually say 7 Network and 7 West Media, which is a parent company, because both of them are the applicants. So you get an old media company stitching up a new media journalist for jail. And it shows the judge, Kelly Rees, acting as a mouthpiece for Kerry Stokes, saying my continuing obsession with Kerry Stokes and Seven. Oh, he's nasty man, that Shane Dowling's got a continuing obsession. Well, I started the website in 2011, and by 2014 I'd written 2 or 3 articles about Kerry Stokes. But then he started suing me in 2014, so I started writing a lot about him, about the case. And then he instituted another 3 slap lawsuits against me, so I had 4 cases going at one stage. So I was writing about that. So where's the continuing obsession? But they make it sound like Kerry Stokes and Channel 7 are victims. This is the same Kerry Stokes, and I said at the beginning it hasn't aged well for him. This is the same Kerry Stokes and Channel 7 that paid for sex workers for Bruce Lerman, paid for cocaine for him, paid for his rental for 12 months, $100,000 in rental, and gave him airtime on their network to deny falsely that he hadn't raped Brittany Higgins, because a judge of the court found he had raped Brittany Higgins. And this is the same Kerry Stokes and Channel 7 that spent $30 million odd trying to conceal the war crimes by Ben Robert Smith. So anything they say in court has no credibility. And the other article goes on to say, in sentencing Dowling on Friday, Justice Kelly Rees said his latest contempt involved deliberately flouting court orders by setting up anonymous websites to publish material about Mr. Stokes and his business despite previously having been ordered to remove the material. Well, the computer expert that Kerry Stokes and Channel 7 hired said he could not say beyond a reasonable doubt that I was the owner of the website. So if he couldn't say it, no one else could. But the judge could, apparently. And the article goes on to say, in 2017, the blogger was sentenced for 4 months jail and for continuing to make allegations on his website naming 2 Channel 7 personalities who had taken action against him for defamation. Well, they hadn't taken action against me. Kerry Stokes and Channel 7 paid for them to take action against me to conceal the fact that the CEO at the time, Tim Warner, was using Channel 7 money as a slush fund for all the women he was having affairs with. And since then, the defamation laws have changed, so those women who, well, it wasn't the women at Channel 7 and Kerry Stokes wouldn't be able to get away with abusing the law like they did, and there would be no suppression orders, and we'd know exactly what happened. And the article goes on to say, the following year, he was again jailed, just as Helen Wilson, who described Dowling as a zealot and one who was legally uninformed and factually deluded, jailed him for 13 months for 3 acts of contempt, one of which was stating in a loud and aggressive manner in a packed courtroom that the presiding registrar was a known bribe taker and pedophile. That means you rape children. His contempt was compounded by secretly recording his outburst and publishing it on his website. On appeal, his term was later reduced to 4 months. Well, let's break that down. Those allegations are still on my website. The recordings are still on my website. No court order was ever issued by Helen Wilson directing me to take that article down, naming the various people, nor to take down those recordings. Now, Justice Helen Wilson said I was a zealot and one who was legally uninformed and factually deluded. Well, 2021, I think 2020 or 21, Justice Helen Wilson gave a pedophile a suspended sentence because she was worried he'd get COVID. So I wouldn't be taking any legal lessons off Justice Helen Wilson. Now, the next sentence, she jailed me for 13 months for 3 acts of contempt. 2 of those acts of contempt because I published an article saying I'd been jailed for contempt. So there was only really 1 contempt, but 2 of them was breaching a non-publication and a suppression order telling people I'd been charged with contempt because they didn't want anyone to know the facts. Now, those suppression orders were ultimately lifted because they had no legal basis. Now, she said I was jailed for 13 months. I was actually given 18 months jail with a non-parole period of 13 months. Now, on appeal, that was reduced to 4 months. So how come she got it so badly wrong, Justice Helen Wilson? I was stitched up, that's why. Went from 18 months with a non-parole period of 13 months down to 4 months. Now, then they say, oh, Mr. Dowling said this in a loud and aggressive manner. The registrar was Registrar Christopher Bradford. It's on my website. It's in a video. It's in a book I've published. Why didn't Kate McClymont name him? There's nothing illegal about naming him. He's never denied it. He's never asked me to take the article down. He's never sued me for defamation. It's still on my website. It's still in a book. Now, once again, the last part, his contempt was compounded by secretly recording the outburst and publishing it on his website. Well, I'll put a link in the article I published tomorrow to the article with the 2 recordings on there. There's actually 2 recordings, not 1. There's 2. And you can actually watch it yourself. There was never any court order issued for me to take it down. So how did it compound the contempt? And the reason they won't issue a court order for me to take it down, because it shows them and their criminal conduct, how I was stitched up. That's why. The last part, on appeal, well, I've dealt with it. On appeal, his term was later reduced to 4 months. So how did she get the sentence so badly wrong? 18 months, the non-parole period of 13 months. And when I appealed it, I was representing myself and I showed 0 remorse. Normally they won't reduce your sentence unless you show remorse. I showed bugger all remorse. Yet it was reduced to 4 months fixed, which means I only had to do 4 months and got out. Now, the article goes on to say, Justice Reeves also noted that earlier this year, Dowling tendered as evidence an article from his website that alleged that Justice Reeves had been ordered by the Chief Justice, who has also been accused of various wrongdoings by Dowling, to jail him on behalf of Mr. Stokes and his lawyers. Further, I was said to be corrupt and one of the biggest grubs sitting on the bench of the New South Wales Supreme Court, although it is very competitive for the title. They're quoting what I said. She said in her judgment. In written submissions, Dowling argued the finding for contempt against him was frivolous and vexatious and should be dealt with a $20 fine. Now, I was found guilty, so you're going to get sentence of some sort, so you could argue what it should be. And I said it should be dealt with by a $20 fine. He also submitted that because he was unvaccinated for COVID-19, his life should not be endangered by imprisonment. Well, I knew Helen Wilson had given a pedo a suspended sentence, because she was worried he'd get COVID. So I thought I'd try it on. Now, in relation to that Helen Wilson one, I'm pretty sure not long after the full court again, when Helen Wilson gave that judgment as a full court, a court of appeal, they gave a pedophile a suspended sentence because they were worried he'd get COVID. I'm pretty sure not long after, another court of appeal gave that bullet. They said, no, we're not going to give you a suspended sentence because we're worried you'd get COVID. But I thought I'd try it on anyhow and obviously got rejected. Now, the article goes on to say, Dowling, who was in Queensland, complained on his website that Justice Reeves' judgment was as dodgy as it gets. Well, as they admit there, I'm in Queensland. I was in Queensland. I applied to have the matter transferred to Queensland numerous times. I lived in Queensland. Channel 7 and 7 West Media have big office in Brisbane. Channel 7 Studios, their head office for the 7 network in Queensland. And normally, under those circumstances, they would transfer it. They should have done. And they need to justify why they didn't. And the article finishes off, showing his customary respect for the law. The blogger also said, I have people lined up to run this website and social media accounts if I am jailed. But hopefully, I'll at least to get to publish a few more posts before that happens. Now, the bottom line is, If they arrest me and try and extradite me to New South Wales, they need to justify why they never transferred the matter to Queensland in the first place and they denied me natural justice. Not only will they have to justify that, which is very, very dodgy, they also need to justify why they breached the Queensland Human Rights Act, which guarantees me a right to a fair trial. A fair trial is showing up to court face to face, not being ordered to defend yourself over the internet, over the phone, which I was forced to do. Justice Kelly Rees can't justify why she didn't transfer it to Queensland. The precedent for that is Simon Mulvaney, who was sued for defamation by Capilano Honey. They instituted proceedings in New South Wales. That ultimately transferred to Victoria because Simon Mulvaney lived in Melbourne or close to it. And Capilano Honey had a major office in Victoria. Now, at some stage, Kate McClymont could have easily have contacted me as orders were issued on the 3rd of September 2021. She didn't publish until the 6th of September. She had 3 days. She could have contacted me and said, okay, Shane, what are some of the actual facts? Or what's your viewpoint? Or what's your story? She didn't bother to do it. She's just acted as a mouthpiece for Kerry Stokes, Channel 7, 7 West Media, in the court. And Kerry Stokes and 7 West Media and Channel 7 in the court are looking like a joke. Like I said at the beginning, I'll publish an article tomorrow, 30th of October 2025 on my website, Kangaroo Court of Australia. I'll have links to further information. Have a link to last year's article so you can see a lot of the background if you're new to this story. And as you can see on the T-shirt and the sign up behind me, I'm in the process of setting up a new T-shirt shop, Fugitive Clothing, a new brand, help fund what I do. And if I was arrested, it'd help fund court costs to fight the extradition to New South Wales, which I'm pretty sure I'd win. And I'm pretty sure they know I'd win too. That's why they won't arrest me. Anyhow, please do your bit and help shine a light on corruption and share this video on social media. And please hit the like and subscribe button and notification button on YouTube. That way you get notified when I publish new videos. And I'm an independent journalist and I'm 100% crowdfunded from viewers like yourself. So I'd be greatly appreciated if you consider making a donation either via PayPal or Patreon. You can donate any amount, $3, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30, $40, $50 a month, whatever suits your budget. It all helps out in a big way. Or you can do one-off donations and you can visit my website and click on the donations page for other donation options. Other than that, thank you for your time and have a good day.